Welcome to the Land Your Bet Sports Betting Show. Got Saturday NBA action here with you guys. I've already got 4 bets or so that I've placed. I've got a bunch of projections and leans that I want to share with you as well. And I also want to talk about how well we did last night. So let's get right into it. I told y'all yesterday we were ready to chef in the live show, and we did. Every day, 5:30 p.m. Eastern, by the way. We do have that live show if you don't want to make sure that you don't miss out, because we are cruising. So on the season now, you can see looking really good here. 8-1 last night. That brings us to 28.8 units on the season. Quick run through as how we won the 6.6 units that we did. Draymond Green over 6.5 rebs was a plus money bet there. Wish I had taken the points. Talked about it on the live show. Hope some of y'all got it. Walker Kessler was easy. That man is cruising right now on Utah, and they are playing him for the requisite 30 plus minutes, which means he's actually turning into a true NBA center finally. Chris Middleton, that went too low. Loved that on the live show. Appreciate people bringing that up. Shout out Legacy King for being like, yo, they just dropped Chris Middleton's lines because he came out listed as not starting, but he was going to play about 20 minutes. And I told you guys that when Chris Middleton comes back from a long absence, he's firing. And that's what he did when he was on the floor, pulling, got the 3 rebounds that we needed to get him over as well. So we got the 10.5 PR for him. Ayo Dosunmu was a little bit of a weird bet because I thought initially that Kobe White was out. He was in. Part of the bet was predicated on that. It still cashed in a really good matchup where Kobe White clearly a little bit still hurt, and Ayo Dosunmu is the clear-cut guy to come in and take all the Kobe White minutes and all the production as well. Al Horford got us there with a 3 in the fourth quarter. He was on the rebounds. Glad I stayed away from just the points. That was initially what I thought about doing, and then we took the PRA so that we could get all of Al Horford's stats in there, which brought us over. Jason Tatum also waited till the fourth quarter to get us 14 rebounds and assists, but ended with about 16. So that was a comfortable play. Jaylen Brown, late add on the first quarter points. Love that bet. He had 12 in the first quarter. That was based on him and Giannis having some beef and him wanting to come out and punch Giannis in the mouth with some points. And he did it. Then he also had 20 points plus, and he had under 4.5 assists, which was a nice plus 120 that we got. Also put that on the live show because that was something that we saw with the under assist for him. When all these dudes are playing, all the guards are healthy, like Drew and Derek White, He's a great under on the dimes, but he's going to be looking to score. So we got that negative correlation, a little bit of that parlay science via our boy Daft. And Jalen Johnson just stopped shooting because DeAndre Hunter was going absolutely insane, ended with 26 points in overtime. Trey had 20 assists. Not very many of them went to JJ, but I would take this bet again. I have 0 regrets about that one. He ended with 12. He had 7 in the first quarter, and then he just stopped shooting because DeAndre Hunter went absolutely ballistic. Don't expect that to happen very consistently. So really happy with the day's work yesterday. So, to celebrate, got 10 codes available for the first 10 people to jump in with code VIP DISC. So this was not working is what I understand, but if you do go back in there and try this code again, I promise you it will work. We had a little bit of issues with it, but it gets you 50% off your first 2 months. And it's more than just the 28 units that we've won through 6.5 weeks of NBA action. It's also the sports betting education that I'm bringing you guys when you need it. So if you do want some one-on-one help and you jump in the VIP, you can schedule one-on-one meetings with me to help trim some of those bad habits and increase the good ones. Got weekly meetings with 3 of my buds right now. I'm feeling really good about how much better they're doing and hopefully learning from the stuff that we're doing. So I'm going to get into these player prop projections. If that all sounds good, give that video a like. Let's get right into it. We are going to be using Props Madness here as I share my screen and go through the stuff I'm looking at with you guys. If you do want to get a membership here and a subscription to Props Madness, use code LYB on propsmadness.com when you sign up. Get 25% off your first month. And as I've been telling everybody, if you already signed up, but you did not use a code to get a discount, hit me up directly. I will get that handled for you and retroactively get you some money off on your account here. But let's talk about what I'm getting into here. And I like to start with the Celtics and Grizzlies games because I think there's some really good opportunity here and some value. First guy I want to look at is Pusha P, as we call him on the show, because he looks like the sketchy kid in your school with a backpack full of drugs. I'm just saying that's what Pusha P is about. But Peyton Pritchard, love his game, obviously, and this is the situation to take him. Not last night when they were playing the Bucks and they were going to make sure that they had all their starters. JB, JT, those guys were going to be taking all the shots, and we knew that. So Peyton Pritchard was not a good bet yesterday at 13.5 points. He is a good bet today because now they're on the back-to-back and they're going to want to give him some more minutes in that situation. So if you look at Peyton Pritchard, and I'm just going to do this on StatMuse real quick and show you Peyton Pritchard on no rest this season. So what happens when this team is on no rest playing on a back-to-back? 4 games in this situation, last one on December 2nd against Miami, 25 points, 20 points, 23 points, 22 points. Just as important, 33 minutes, 26 minutes, 36 minutes, 29 minutes. On the season, dude is averaging about 25 minutes per game. in 4 games where they're playing on back-to-backs, he's looking at 31 minutes per game, 22.5 points, and 4 and 4 for the rebounds and the assists. Just as important, 14.5 field goal attempts. So everything goes up for Peyton P when they're on no rest because they trust him anyway. And now they're in a position that they would really like to let their guys rest. They're playing a Western Conference foe in Memphis, not nearly as important as beating Milwaukee for the Eastern Conference standings and getting into the playoffs as the 1 seed. So this is the moment of time that you bring him back out. I think Hauser is probably a good play as well. He's only at 6.5. So this is going to be a really good look for Peyton Pritchard at 11.5. Oh, wow. Is this down? No way. No way. Did this just jump down? Somebody probably got announced in literally as I'm recording this. And so now we see his points go down. Maybe they were wondering if Drew Holiday was going to play or not. I'm going to have to take a look at that, but I still think at 11.5 points, even if Drew Holiday is playing, I still think that's a good look in this game for him. So I'm not scared of the 11. I wasn't scared of the 13.5 with the possibility that Drew was out. Even with Drew in, if this gets bumped down to 11.5, go ahead and take that comfortably. Looking at Jason Tatum, I want to tell you why I like him on the rebounds. 8.5 boards here, and I already gave this out in the VIP, so you know this is a bet for me. I got this at about -103, and you can see it's moving now. And Pinnacle, the book that we trust the most, is the one moving as well. 8.5, -119. This is the sharp book. So when you're looking at Props Madness or any other sort of odds-finding tools, if Pinnacle or any of these sharp books are showing you a line, I would trust that line as more accurate than, say, FanDuel, DraftKings, the ones that are just copycat books, taking the lines from the other people. But here's why I like this stuff. This is fantasylabs.com and the on-off stuff, also known kind of as like Court IQ. This is where you can see not just how players are performing when other players don't play in the game, but how they perform in the game when a certain player is off the court and how they perform with certain lineups. So you can see here, I chose the Boston Celtics, and I'm looking at what happens when Derek White, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, and Drew Holiday are on the court, but Al Horford is not. And I should probably actually add Kristaps here. Excuse me. Let me put Kristaps in here as well. So I'm adding him, selecting that, and I've got all this without Al Horford, right? So what happens in these situations per 36? So you can see per 36 minutes, because they're playing in the game without, as you know, not 36 minutes in this exact lineup, but if you extrapolate that out to 36 minutes, what happens? You can see Jaylen Brown is scoring 30 points per game when he's playing with Kristaps, Drew, Derek White, and Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum, meanwhile, is getting about 12 boards per 36 minutes. He actually gets more rebounds per game and per minute when he's playing with Kristaps rather than when he's not. We've talked about this before. Kristaps is busy boxing guys out, which allows Jason Tatum to come in and get those rebounds. Plus, he's probably guarding another big on the other team. In this case, he'll be guarding somebody like Jaren Jackson Jr., maybe a Santi Aldama, guys that are going to be also going down low, and that's going to keep him close to the basket to get those rebounds. So I love JT on the rebounds over 8.5. And I like Kristaps on the points, too, because I do think they're going to try to feed him. He sat yesterday so that he could play today. They played Al Horford last night, so he could sit today. So that's why I like taking these guys on these back-to-backs when one of them is playing and one of them is not. And you can see Kristaps in the 4 games he's played is averaging 21 a game, and his minutes are going up. So 23 in his first game back. They won by 32. He wasn't needed. He might have been able to play a couple more minutes, but they didn't need him to. Against Chicago, they won by 9, still played 25 minutes, 21 points and 11 shots in 25 minutes. And then this now starts to go up. 32 minutes versus the Cavs, 29 minutes versus Detroit in a 10-point win. So I expect him to play about 30 minutes in this game tonight. And if he does, he's definitely good for the 17.5 points. Just showing you this once again, you can see Kristaps is at about 26 points per 36 minutes when he's playing with this lineup. And he's had 33 minutes of total action this season with these 4 other guys on the floor with him. So I'm just going to continue to believe in what I see here and really expect them to keep his usage up in a game where he's well rested. This also feels like a great Ja Morant moment, I will say. This one came in a little bit late to me, but I'm really liking scoring point guards against the Celtics. You can see here, pick and roll ball handler, they give up the 5th most points per game to that play. We know Ja is going to be doing a lot of that, and we know he's going to be looking to get out in transition. And while this defense is good in transition, you can see the other types of players like Ja Morant who have had a lot of success against this squad, because this is how you score against Boston. You have to be a good pull-up shooter or someone who can go all the way to the rim. So I think the points are good. I also think the assists are good. You can see Dame going over, Malik Beasley going clean over, Cade going over, Tyler Hero 19, not quite over, but then everybody else, Donnie Mitchell, Darius Garland, both going over, Ant, Malcolm Brogdon, Jordan Poole. These are all dudes that are going to be scoring fast, quick point guards that are looking to get their points against the Celtics. I think Ja's good for that. With KP in, I also like the dimes a little bit because I think when he gets into the lane, he's going to need to kick that out. Boston not giving up very much on the assists, but this is the type of play that they would give it up on. 7.5 is a good number. If you can't get it better than -130, though, I don't know if that's worth it. So Jaws need to look for Memphis, but I'm probably going to end up staying away from him unless you want to play the points by themselves. Let's move to this Thunder and Pelicans game here and look at the one play that there's a couple plays, I should say. I don't know why I said one. First one I was looking at was Herb Jones. And whenever someone is playing against the Thunder, I want to know who takes the most corner 3-point shots, because you can tell this is the same concept as last season. If you're on Props Madness, you can see the opponent defense shot chart, right? So when the Thunder are on defense, where are they giving up the most points? Second fewest points above the break, third fewest points to the mid-range. Doesn't sound very good for Brandon Ingram or CJ McCollum. And then the 28th, right, third most points to this corner, 15th to this corner. But if you just combine corner threes together, you can tell that this team is giving up like the fifth most, between the third and fifth most. It fluctuates a bit from game to game. But this is where they pressure the defense. The defense pressures the ball into the corner because they pressure the ball handlers so well. That's why they limit so much stuff up top and give up so much stuff on the outside down low towards the baseline, right? So that's why you want to take guys who are shooting from that spot. We know Herb Jones is standing in the corner waiting for those threes. That's how he plays on offense, is either he gets the corner three and puts it up, or he gets the corner shot and then he goes to the rim to get his, right? So the threes were the first look for me. I think if you get over 1.5 for about close to 2-1, that's a really good number for Herb. You can see on the regular season, okay, this is fine. But if you look at head-to-head, I don't think he's played this season. But if we look at last season head-to-head, in the regular season alone, I don't have the playoffs when they face, but the regular season here, 2 for 8. 2 for 7, and 1 for 6. And what I care about is not did he make as many as he needs to. I care about the volume. When it comes to 3-point shots, I need to know how many you're projected to take. So if you project Herb Jones to take 6 threes, he needs to make 2 of them for plus 200. I'm going to take that bet every time, right? If he needs to go 33% from deep to get us 2-1 on our money, I'm going to take that bet. This is like a 36% career 3-point shooter. So I know that he's easily capable of hitting 33%. So I love the threes for Herb in this game. I would take over 1.5 rather than take this juice to get minus 250. I'm not suggesting that. I'm suggesting 1.5 threes over for Herb Jones. And that gets you close to plus 200 on your money. So I would take that one. I also think Yves Missi is a good play for the points and rebounds combined. This is probably going to go up a little bit. It's at 16.5, minus 125. That's about as far as I'd take it. So there's a few books offering us minus 130 or better for over 16.5 points and rebounds for Yves, and that's the look that I would have. And it's all about him being inserted into the starting lineup and getting more minutes. So if you look at the last 12 games since he got bumped into that SL, the starting lineup, he's at 21.9 PR, which is basically 12 points and 10 boards per game that he's averaging. Look at the rebound chances: 21, 19, 21. 14, 15, that's the low end, right? 28, 18. So he's going to be anywhere from like 18 to 20 rebound chances is where he's at right now. I love that for him. As long as he's getting about 25 to 30 minutes, this is going to be a really good look for Yves, as he's their only center. Like, do you want to put Daniel Tyson there? Who else do you really got, right? Jeremiah Robinson Earl. So now that they have established the Rook as their clear-cut center, yes, the points are a little bit scary because he's got everybody back in. Brandon Ingram. He's going to have, obviously, CJ and DeJounte Murray. I don't care. He still took 9 shots last game against the Suns with them in just 25 minutes. The rebounds were really good as well. So, yeah, I'm happy to take Yves Missi in this situation. So I would get this in while you can for the points and the rebounds. Looks like that might be on the move as well. So I think this is a good over for Yves. Same for Hartenstein, but I'm taking a double-double for him, and you should be able to get that at about even money for the double-double. I'm not scared of the points or the rebounds at the prop that they're at. I think I might even consider a small ladder on just the boards to like 14 or 15, but I like the double-double because I love the fact that what's happened in the last couple games here is that he's actually gone over, well under on the points. The Jazz, 22 minutes and just the 4 points. Against the Raptors, 28 minutes and just the 2 points. And in those games, 3 shots against the Raps and 7 shots against the Jazz. So not a very good game and not very much involvement in the offense. But guess what? They won both those games by 1 billion points. 27-point win versus the Jazz, a 37-point win versus the Raptors, and he had foul trouble against the Jazz. So it was a little bit tougher. Plus Walker Kessler playing much better. So that was a big reason why the Jazz, have been putting him in there. Either way, iHeart in this game, I love him to be able to get the double-double. I think he's going to be taking another 7 to 8 shots, and is not going to be as hard to score against the Pellies. If we go to FanDuel Fantasy Pros, which I've shown you before, just to be able to look at the that's the wrong one, just to be able to look at the position versus team defense versus position. So if we go to centers, who's giving up the most rebounds per game? It's the Pellies. By the way, Thunder are giving up the third most. Also why I like Yves Missi in this game. If you look at the points, a little bit better, but still giving up points to the position as well. About 12th most in terms of points to the opposing center. So I think that iHeart's going to be a lot more involved. He knows he's going to be able to score on Yves Missi. He's going to play more than 22 to 25 minutes if this game is at all close, which I expect it to be, since we've got the players actually in the lineup here for this Pelicans squad. This should be a reasonable enough game for iHeart to get his double-double. Last game I had a chance for to look at was this Knicks game, and it's partly because Cat is now questionable. And anytime someone's a late add to the injury report, Karl Towns didn't get announced on the injury report till this morning. And anytime someone is a late add, it makes me think there's a higher likelihood that they do not play than they do, because they don't have as much time to heal from whatever just came up that they're now injured, whether it's an illness or what have you. So this is a little bit predicated on Cat not playing, but I like Josh Hart on the boards at 8.5. And I do think this is going to go up the moment, if Cat is ruled out, the moment that he is, this Josh Hart bet is going to go up. So the only things that I really like in this game against Detroit are the idea that are based on the idea that Cat doesn't play. So Josh Hart on the rebounds, I like over 8.5. I think that's worth taking before the Cat news, because I still think he's going to be good to get some boards here. And then Jalen Brunson on the points against this Detroit team, especially. Like, I know that they're going to be playing good D against the point guard. They limit stuff up top, but they do not guard the pick and roll ball handler well at all. And while they might try to sell out and double JB on some of these, if Cat is not in there, the assists are a really good look as well. So if Cat is not in, I think Jalen Brunson on either the points and assists separately, or just the assists, are going to be a really good look in this game. We know he's had a ton of these dimes that he's been coming up with, and a lot of them to the shooters and to the spot up, right? Which we know. So I think JB is a look, but it's a lean right now for me. Josh Hart is a bet, because I think even if Cat is in there, he's still good to get 9 boards. If Cat is out, this is probably going to go up to 9.5. All right, final reminder, we do have the VIP discount available. Apologies for those of y'all that tried to get in and the code didn't work. Hit up WAP. We got it taken care of. So now if you use code VIPDISC, VIPDISC, that gets you 50% off your first 2 months. Try not to forget, we are cruising right now, up 28.2 units on the season, 28.8 in just the props alone. But we're feeling good about Saturday as well. I'm going to have a bunch of plays in there, so try not to miss out in addition to the ones that I've given you so far. So appreciate everybody. I'll see you back on the live show Monday. Also, don't miss the NFL videos. We got player props and anytime touchdowns up for you guys for Sunday, week 14. So until I see y'all next, happy betting.